Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Vintage Craft and Chat here on my channel, Day Trip Vintage Company. My name is Julie for anybody that is new. And today we are starting a brand new series. I'm guessing it may be a 2-week series, but we'll see how far we get today. But I have come up with this really fun patriotic themed, red, white, and blue themed junk journal made from, let me grab one, a large size clasp style envelope. So one of these envelopes that has the little clasp there, kind of the craft colored. They come in many different colors. And I think you can also pick these up at Dollar Tree, probably pack of, I don't know, six or so, I'm guessing. These may have even come from Dollar Tree, but it's just this large size, which is a 9 by 12. But if you don't have a 9 by 12 and you have a smaller clasp envelope, that would certainly work as well. It would just be more of a petite journal. And you could also decide not to do a trifold. I did a trifold on this one because I have the large size, but you could also just, double it and have more of a petite journal and then also utilize the top flap there. So, hi, Susie, how are you? And hello, Carrie, welcome. I think you're new. Oh, Nettie, I didn't see Nettie. Okay, good. Good luck on your appointment. Yes, have fun, Nettie. And hello to Jordan too, if she's listening. Good. I hope you have a good appointment time. So this is what we are working on today, and two-part because today I'm planning on showing you how to build the journal and hopefully get through with the cover adornments, the decorations, and all of that kind of good stuff. And I think when I turn the camera around, I'll actually give you a closer look, but it's definitely vintage style. I found some fun graphics online. I'll share those with you as well. We're also using, which I've had in my stash for a while, I'm also utilizing the Dollar Tree popcorn bags. If any of you have them in your stash, I know I have two bags because I couldn't find them forever. And when I finally found them, I grabbed 2 bags. So those have been sitting in my stash. I have done a project with, you could look back at my bingo card, Christmas journal, where I actually folded it and made little pockets to go inside the journal. So that's a fun way to use it, but it's so cute with the black and white, the red and white striped graphics that I couldn't resist to use that. So those are 2 of the specific. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I do have a supply list down in the description. I have added some Amazon supplies if I could find them. So those links are down there. They are affiliate links. If you click on the link and you purchase really anything, or you purchase that item, you don't pay anything additional. It's just a link that Amazon gives me as part of the associates program. And I don't know, maybe it's a couple cents per item, but it adds up. I finally got to my first $10, and maybe I'm at $5. And I can take that money and invest it back into supplies for us to use on our Thursdays together. And I so appreciate that, everybody that does buy through the links. Hello, Kathy. How are you? Happy Thursday. And Terry is here. Terry, I'm still reveling. I'm still reveling with all the goodies you sent me. And I think I did pull out one thing to use in the journal that we'll be using. One of the library cards. Where is it? I have so many files. So I pulled out one of the library cards that you sent, and maybe something else. I haven't got into really decorating the inside of the journal. So, happy is an understatement. It was so funny. I even my neighbor friend, she's not a crafter or a junk journaler at all. And I think I had walked with her maybe later that day after, I did the video and opened all the treasures. And she was so fun. Like, I was so excited. I was even telling her, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So funny. But she gave me my conversation with her started her thinking of some things that she had at the house. She was going through some paperwork and things of her parents. So she gave me a big bag of, what do I want to say? Receipts, like grocery receipts that were fun, like from a business, grocery business receipts. So yeah, so I'm still, and I have it all in a little box back here, Terry. Beyond. I feel very spoiled and blessed. So thank you, my friend. Okay, you know what? Before I turn the camera around, let's pull a prompt real quick, and then I'll show you some of the supplies that I gathered. But as with anything, really use what you have. I mean, that's the best thing. If you're going to do this as a patriotic journal, just go through your stash and grab anything that is red, white, and blue, or anything that catches your attention. So really anything goes. Okay, what is it going to be? Yes, more her handmade things. That was the other thing. Oh my gosh. And you guys can't see it. I have the card that you made, the handmade card. It's across the way. It's in a little display. Can you guys see? And then let's see. You can't hear me. These are the little sewing ones that you sent. And then I have this little cutie pie. I have this little cutie pie that you sent. Look how sweet. Oh, it's really washing it out. You guys can't see. And then that one's on my shelf too. So they are making my space look happy and bright. Yes. Okay. All right. So what is this week's prompt? Oh, ooh. So some people may not love this. Oh, it's so washed out. What is going on with the camera? It's very washed out. Glitter. So that may be a difficult thing. I, of course, have lots of, the good old fashioned glitter. I love to use for assemblage making, but another way, let me see, another product, some of you may have this is probably what I'll end up using if anybody has stickles in their stash. So this is fun. But of course, good old fashioned glue and a bottle of glitter works too. So that'll be fun. Or glittered paper. Glittered paper would work too, because many of us have that as well. Is it? Yeah, it's maybe going to be a hard sell for some. Oh, sequins would be great too. Should we count sequins in? I'll say glitter. I'm going to say glitter or sequins because it might be hard. Some paper crafters. Should we do that? Let's make a unanimous glitter, and I'm going to add sequins because maybe more people would have those. Some paper crafters may not have the glitter. So I'm a unanimous. We're going to make it glitter or sequins because we make up the rules around here. Oh, yes. I've never made a shaker. Okay. Maybe that's what I'm going to make is a shaker. I have yet to make one. Fabulous idea. I might steal that. And then last week we made Twinchies. So here is, there we go. It's a little bit better. Here is my Twinchies. So if anybody doesn't know, Twinchies are similar to an ATC card, which is the size of a playing card, and anything goes, whatever you want to decorate it with. And the same thing with Twinchies. So Twinchies are just a smaller version, which is a 2-inch by 2-inch. And believe it or not, there is such a thing as an inchy, which is 1-inch by 1-inch. So that gets more challenging. I think the smaller, your surface is, it gets much more challenging. And I just found this funny little fly guy that was in one of my children's books. What does it say? Have you ever seen a fly with an eyeglass in his eye? So he's kind of funny, but I had fun with that. I feel like ATCs, Twinchies, Inchies, those are a fun thing just to have fun, just to let loose, maybe play with, you know, paints and inks and sprays and glitter and sequins, all that kind of good stuff. So that was mine for the week. Oops, let me put this up here because I lost this when we had that weird week when Google was down. We had the weird StreamYard fiasco. I lost it and then I had to handwrite it because I couldn't find it. I think I eventually found it though. So, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around and then I'll do a little flip through and show you a little bit of close up. Let's see here. We're pretty good. I pushed my computer way back so that I'd have more crafting room. Let's see here. Let me get, you guys aren't very straight, are you? Maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, we're pretty straight there. Okay, so let me do a little kind of flip through of what I've done so far. So here's the front of the journal. And then here's the back side. And on mine, I just did a really simple, I just took pinking shears and just did a real simple cut piece of vintage material. Sorry, the gardener's here. That's super, super loud. So here's the flap of that clasp envelope. Okay, and basically I covered the whole outside with vintage papers and then lined the inside as well. And then here is the little decoration that I made for sort of the flat, you know, the front cover, and I'll show you some of the printables I found. So I just did a really easy collage there at the top with some material, a vintage postage stamp. I found this little guy on Pinterest. I found this on Pinterest. This was just actually a sticker that I had in my stash, but you could use carnival stickers, you could use postage stamps, you know, use your imagination. And this was also a printed ticket or a label, and I will share where I got that as well. And of course, if you have the label stamps, which I do, you can make your own. You could stamp whatever you want on there too. I just thought the 4, and the background is some vintage paper as well. So there's that. And I made it a trifold, so it opens like this. We will be decorating the insides next week. I'll probably put a library card, use that library card from Terry and decorate it in some way. So we'll have decorations here. We'll probably put some decorations here. Here is a big pocket here that I made. So that's the top of the envelope. You can see inside there. And then it opens up like this. This will get some decoration. And you can also cut this, so slice this side, and you can make an envelope or like a, you know, a text spot on this side too, like a pocket. And it wouldn't bother anything, right? You could do like the little hole punch like I did here. So that's an option too. I was making it easy on myself. And then I just did a signature here. So we will learn how to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And so this little signature in here. And again, I just picked vintage papers, things that I could find if they were red, white, and blue, that kind of thing. So, and then covered this in. So we'll be having fun and decorating all of that. Okay, so that's that. Oh, and then I also added a little bit of trim here and some vintage buttons. And I'm going to leave this out so I can look at it. The other things I wanted to share with you really quick, I was looking through my stash of books. I don't remember where I picked this up. It was either thrifted, maybe at the library book sale, but this is The Little Golden Book of America. This is such a cool book. Whoops, I have a weird pop-up here. Go away, little pop-up. Let's see, make sure I didn't miss anything. So this book, in fact, I pulled out a couple pages to put in the signature, and I think we'll use some of the images in here, maybe to make some tags and little decorations to go in. But of course, here's some antique looking photographs. And I didn't look to see, I didn't do kind of a check on eBay to see if these are readily available or the cost, but aren't those cool? Oh my gosh, these are perfect. Look how fun those are. So I just wanted to do a little share. That's beautiful with the tall ships there. So this is a fun book. It's sort of hard to come across patriotic 4th of July kind of thing. So I wanted to share that with you. Whoops. And I'm glad I finally dug into it. I'm trying to be better about that. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to be working with, and I have little piles of things. So again, I just pulled out sheet music, just anything that sort of had that red, white, and blue vibe. We'll be working with maps because those are great too, to get the red and the blue. So that's that stuff. You know, pull out any trims, again, that give you that vibe. Stamps, buttons, that kind of thing. Washi tapes that have that look. Let's see, these are papers. We'll talk about those later. These are just papers that I pulled to do the signatures with. So I'm going to stick those. I'm like so short on room here. These, not maps, flags are super fun to include. I pulled out cupcake liners, just all kinds of things. Envelopes, I think maybe we'll have a play with. Stickers. It was just fun to dig through. Here's a piece of that popcorn bag. Star stickers. Also, if you don't have any papers that sort of are patriotic, napkins, of course, are fun to use, and the stores are full of them right now for 4th of July. So there's a lot of fun paper napkins out there, and you can decoupage a napkin in place of some of the vintage papers that we're going to use to line the inside and outside of our journal. Of course, fun trims. Look at this. This almost ended up being the tie or the sash. This was that fun paper that, or excuse me, I can't talk today. The fabric that I got from Carrie the Paper Monkey, but I ended up thinking it was maybe a little bit too busy, but we'll use that for little tabs or something fun inside. So those are some of the supplies that I gathered. And then let me show you really quick the printables. On my phone, when I go into Pinterest, it goes to I have a Pearly Girl Pinterest page, which is my other business. And then I recently, a while back, set up a Day Trip Vintage Pinterest page. So I need to either go into that when I'm on my phone, because I tend to use my phone just scrolling and looking for printables, free printables, that kind of thing. So this particular one, I did put in the Day Trip Pinterest page. Maybe I could figure out a way to put it in the link tree too. I'll play around with that later today. But look at how cute this guy is. So let me see. I already cut him out. So this is the little guy that I settled upon for the cover. And this is red lead Paperworks, but I did save this into the 4th of July folder on my Day Trip Vintage Pinterest page. So, but again, I'll play around with that more and make it more accessible. Originally, I was going to use him, and so maybe we need to figure out how to use him inside, because I love finding images that we can modify to hold things. And I have him cut out somewhere in here, but I originally did a fussy cut and removed his flowers. Wouldn't that be cute? And then you can punch little holes on top of at the bottom of his hand, and then he can be holding a flag. I mean, you could even leave the flowers too. Now in looking at that, that's actually pretty cute with the flowers as well. Like they would be, I guess, you know, in his other hand. But isn't he cute? So we'll have to find a place inside, but he just didn't fit with the cover. You can kind of see the size didn't fit, but this is a fun, and we'll use some of these too, I think, in there, but I wanted to share that guy. Graphics Fairy has amazing patriotic images. This is one that I printed off. I didn't do it on cardstock. I'll probably go back and do it on cardstock, but he's sort of similar to this other guy, so he would be fun too. You could print this and make that your cover. Some other ones that I found, of course, I've shared some of hers before, from Tara Jacobson, and she's Artsy Fartsy Live. If you go onto Pinterest and type in any sort of printable you're looking and free printable, her links always come up. And what's great about everything she offers on her site, they are free to use in anything you make, and she gives you permission to sell those items. So use these printables in anything that you would like to sell. So that's great. And like, here's some more. I think I printed these out a couple years ago, and they were in my little printable envelope. What else? That's the other side of that. Here's more things from her site. Oh, and then these I wanted to share. So I printed these out, but I didn't see until after. I couldn't see anything on the site, but it says here in small print, it says for personal use. But these were on the Sew Paper Print blogspot.com. Hopefully you guys can see that. And these are really great red, white, and blue images. So not necessarily patriotic, but just all red, white, and blue. And I think these are fabulous. I didn't want to include any because likelihood is that I'll end up listing both of these journals once they're complete. Energy Saver is on. Okay. So I didn't want to include anything that I didn't have permission to use, but I would highly suggest looking for those. And then we're going to use some of these sparkler box scans here. And that's another one that I need to find and put in that Pinterest page. And then these are labels. I've had these printed for years. They've just been in my stash. I use them little by little, but they are from Kathy Holden. And I mean, they go back to 2015. So these are fun too. And we'll be using the 4s from those. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of an idea and a start if you don't have, you know, a lot of red, white, and blue or patriotic type things in your stash. Okay, so that I think I can throw over there. Get that out of the way. Okay, and I hope I'm not missing anybody. Let's see. Okay, so now let's get started on building our journal. I can get those out of the way too. Let's see here. Let me keep these. Let me get rid of this other. I grabbed 2 envelopes just in case I mess up, which could be likely. Okay, so this is to do our cover. We don't want to lose any of that stuff. Okay, good. All right, so as I said, I'm using a 9x12 clasp envelope. Oh, I should have done this before we started. So I went ahead in the other one and I removed the metal clasp here. Hopefully, let me get something to pry up the back side. And there's some little tabs, so if you can find something to just lift them up, they're like little pointy sharp things. Hopefully I can. Hi, Laura. Good morning. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this was a very last minute. I was playing hooky so much. Usually once I'm done. Oh, I feel like I'm just going to rip it. It's not wanting to come up easy. The other one came up super easy. Yeah, I was just playing hooky. I went to the movies with my daughter Friday, and I was just in the gardening mode. Jim was home all weekend, which was so nice. He wasn't working, and we just had fun. We were working in the garden, planting new flowers. I just was enjoying. And then like Tuesday came around, I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do on Thursday? Okay, so that came out. It took a little bit of prying, but eventually it came out. And I'm going to grab my scoreboard, my brand new scoreboard. I made a post. I actually splurged. Well, not splurged, but this is something, I have a little tiny one and I've been wanting a large scoring board for a while. And it was one of those things I just kept talking myself out of. I'm like, I don't need it. I have a ruler. But I have to say that I love it. I did put a link in an Amazon link down below. I tried to find one that was similar. In fact, it almost looks identical. The thing I love about this is that the numbers are and the measurements are super legible. My little tiny one that I have from Hobby Lobby, they aren't, and it makes it really hard to see and use, but that's the one thing. But this came from Michael's. It's the Recollections brand. So this is much better priced if you have Michael's, or you can get out to a local Michael's. And I was able to use a coupon. So I think it came out to like $11 and something. So that was a pretty good deal. And I want to say maybe it was 14-ish. And Hobby Lobby, it looked like they had one that was similar, but my Hobby Lobby did not have one, I guess, on the shelf. At least their website said not for same day or local pickup. So that's how I ended up at Michael's. Oh, I would totally, Laura, if you have Michael's, I would recommend it. It's also nice. So it comes with instructions and it comes with a little bone folder, like a score here. And does this remove? Oh my gosh. I didn't even know this did this. Oh, now I really recommend it. So it looks like this little plastic thing comes out, which I didn't even realize. And then it has all kinds of instructions on how to make gift boxes, envelopes, envelope boxes, and it has a ruler here. And I'm sure there's something else fun, not funny, but fun, you know, the way these, but it came with paper, like a little booklet, which actually was probably several pages long of instructions. Let me see if I can get this back in. I would think it would just slide in. How cool is that? And another thing that I wanted to share, so I was signed up for the Joann's, I think this is user error. I was signed up to get Joann's emails, or no, texts. I was signed up to get Joann's texts, and yesterday I received, like, I guess a final text they probably are sending out to everybody, like, our last goodbye, we're saying goodbye to you. But what was so cool is they had a link in there, and they were saying, you know, Michaels now carries a lot of our brands, and they had a link that I clicked on and I followed through, and you can get a 50% off on a single item from Michaels. So I had a 30% off coupon that I used for this, but if you hopefully got that text or can find the 50% off, that's even better. Oh, Carolyn, I missed you coming in. I just saw you. Hello and welcome. Yeah, this, I would say highly recommend this. Okay. So let's pull out our little score tool here. And what I came up with as far as scoring is, and this is a little scribbly, I came up with which seemed to work well for me. We may do a little modification when we get to this end, but I came up with scoring this 9x12 clasp envelope. So scoring, I don't know that you guys can see, scoring at 3 3/4, 4 inches. What is my writing? 8 inches. It's so scribbly. 7 3/4. I'm not going in order. 11 7/8, and then 12 1/8. So this does go up. It has a little 1/8 on the other side of the 12 here. So let's get started. Okay, so our first one is at, let me make sure I don't mess up, 3 3/4. And I find it's good to go over it maybe 3 times. You can just kind of play around with it. Okay, 3 3/4. Now we're going to do 4. So basically we're making little 1/4 inch spines is what we're doing. Okay, so then we go to 7 3/4. And then we're going to 8. Okay, let me see what we have here. And these folders or envelopes, they're pretty thick. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I'm going to put this aside for just a second. And I'm going to take this bone folder, and I really want to burnish that down. Make it as flat as possible, nice and crisp. Okay, here's the one. And it does take a little finagling. You know, you have to work with it a little bit to then get your next fold on the line. I probably could go over it even more, but there we go. It's finally starting to go there. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, I'm going to burnish that one down really well. And there we go. Hopefully you can see that's like really, really nice and crisp. And you can, of course, make these as wide as you want. If you want to do a really large signature or several signatures, you can just modify that. Okay, so that looks good. Now let's fold these. We'll do the same thing. That one was a little bit easier. I'm so excited to have this large scoring board. Because now I could do 12 by 12 papers. And I've tried to do the, you know, getting a ruler. Where's my big ruler? I lost my metal one. You know, you can take a ruler, you can line it up on your mat. If you don't have a scoring board, you can take a bone folder, you know, you don't want something super sharp. And then you can just go back and forth and get your score lines. And I actually was doing that when I started this project, but for me, it wasn't working as well. And it was frustrating me. It wasn't coming out nice and crisp and clean. And I also tried to do it with my little scoreboard and then just kind of flip it over, but yeah, it wasn't as nice. And really, I was happy. Less than $12. I have a really nice tool now. Okay, so then we can see that. So I'm going to fold this, and I might modify a little bit my measurements on this other end. I just want to take a look. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit on the mark, and we'll see if those are the same as the measurements. If not, we may change it up a little bit. Whoops, I probably should have done it on this side. Okay, let's see what that gets us. Oh no, that is good. Okay, so our next score line is going to be at 11 7/8, and that's exactly where my pencil was. And it's almost pretty much on the same fold line. That's, well, no, I guess it's not. It's not quite the same. It's a little bit below that natural fold of the envelope. And then I'm going to score it at the very last on my scoreboard, which is 12 1/8. And that's going to give us that third 1/4 inch spine. I'm going to give that one more so I don't struggle with it as much. It's a single layer on this side, so that should be okay there. Oh, also, Laura, before I would recommend and actually ended up, my local Michaels didn't have the scoreboards, and I actually ended up driving to another city, to a Michaels I've never gone to before. So definitely check online. I'm glad I did that, because I would have just driven down to the other one and would have been disappointed. I don't know why people don't have. What's with the scoreboards being sold out? Let me grab my other. I put that one away. I'll grab my other bone folder. And we'll get that scored. What's great too, once you learn how to build the journal, you can make it any theme you want. If you are not super into 4th of July or kind of a patriotic theme, sky is the limit. Okay, so let's do, oh my gosh, that looks beautiful. So there it is folded. I think we're pretty good. I think we look good there. Okay, I'm going to come in and just do a little tiny cut. If you can see just where I folded, this part of the envelope bent down a little bit, and I'm just going to take a minute just to kind of trim that, just so when we fold it, it's just a little bit cleaner. We don't have that hanging out. Okay. All right. Okay, now let's start covering. I'm going to grab my papers and give myself a little bit of a look here. Do I want to, oh, that came off. I was thinking, do I want to leave that? But that came off anyway. Okay, let's line the inside. Here, and I just grabbed some of this. I don't even know what it is. It's from like a longitude latitude book. I love this. It's one of the things that I grab for often. Okay, good. Just want to make sure it fit. And I went, just so I could speed up the process a little bit, I went through and cut a lot of the papers to size. You know what? I'm going to glue this little thing down here. Maybe let's do a little bit of a check. If we have anything that we think we'll be fully gluing all the pieces of paper, but we can just glue down these little pieces just to make them a little bit tighter. Although sometimes it's nice to have that little bit of a sound when things aren't all glued down. Okay, I think that's good. All right. Now, this is a little bit kind of can be tricky. I'm going in about an inch deep. Maybe I'll go in a little bit more than that. And I'm just using the art glitter glue. I'm not being totally precise. I want to make sure I get the edges well. You could also use glue stick, but there's just a dry time that I don't want to have with us today. Okay, there we go. Let me make sure I went down far enough for the glue so that our folder doesn't glue shut. And I'm going to grab a card and just kind of burnish that a little bit, just so it sticks well. Okay, easy peasy. And then I'm just going to turn it over and do a really easy trim here. Let me switch over. I find the little cutter beads are easier for me anyway to get around corners. They're a little bit more precise. Okay, nice and clean. That is looking good. Okay, let's see. Let's switch and go over to our popcorn bag. Oops, sorry about that noise. And I'm going to trim this up a little bit just to get rid of the flaps, just to clean up. We can keep these pieces because we may use them to build and make our ephemera. I'm going to cut this like whole double layer off because really what I'm after, we're just using it as paper. Kind of like wrapping paper. And same thing, I'm going to cut down here. There's a little bit of a double layer here, and I don't really want that double layer. These bags are really big, so this is really a good value. I think maybe there's 6 in a bag, so you really do get a lot of paper when you cut them open like this. Let's see, I think I'll use that line. It would be really cute too, I think, to, we'll have to see what it looks like inside. Maybe even use this part, this popcorn emblem here. Okay. Now, let me see. Okay, so we use the, or at least I use the popcorn bag to cover this front. And, oh, I did it on the front here. And then I also did this inside flap. So let's maybe work on that inside flap first. Which is this. And then you can decide as you're going along. So let's look at this as an example. So the cover, I used the popcorn bag to cover my spine on the left side and also this right side. And then what did I do here? And then it looks like I also used it to cover the spine on the inside, but you could decide. I could have also done it with the sheet music. Same thing. So as you're building it, just decide, and it doesn't really matter. Same thing here. I could have used the matte paper to do the spine, but the popcorn paper was the first thing that I used when I started building and covering. It was just kind of organic as I was doing it. So you just work with what makes sense for you. And I just want to check, check, and double check. Okay. And I find for me, it's easier to glue and then trim, flip it over and trim. But you could definitely measure, measure once, twice, 3 times and cut to size and then glue it on. I'm not very math and number oriented, so I find this is just as easy. And you also get, this is not coming out of here. Very good. You also get a nice snug fit when you cut it that way. And when I did the prototype or the first one, I used glue stick, but there's kind of some drying time with that. So I'm using art glitter glue, but I think glue stick would be great. You get really good adhesion. And obviously I'm using a lot of art glitter glue here. Which is more expensive than the glue stick, depending on how much. Okay. So I'm just going to line it up. It's hard for me to see. I'm going to line it up kind of right to that second score line. And burnish that down really well. Okay, then we're just going to trim it. And if you don't get it super aligned, you can come in with your inks. And ink between the pages too. Let's see. Hi Penny, how are you? Hopefully I didn't, if I'm probably going to do more crafting than talking today just because it's a big project. Oh, I hope you're having a nice day, Penny. So if I miss anybody coming in, I will be very sorry. I'm going to try to go back and look. Yeah, the art glitter. Oh, the stick is, yeah, sometimes the stick glues don't last long. I did that whole glue stick thing, and I probably should go back and revisit. In fact, somebody had asked me to do that when Taylor and I did that glue stick review, to go back maybe a year later and kind of test. I kept all the papers from when we did that, so that would be a fun thing. The thing I don't like though about the art glitter glue is that you get ridges. So for paper that's kind of thin, like this popcorn paper, you do kind of see the little ridges from the art glitter glue. I guess that's the drawback of that. But then of course, yeah, sometimes the glue sticks don't last as long. So I'm going to come back in here and just fold that again. Just fold those lines. And they're a little bit easier now because they're folded, and also, you know, there's a little bit of dampness because of the glue. And I probably can do this last, and then you can go back and sort of check your edges as you're going along. You know, we'll come and do an edge test at some point, but they seem not too bad. Okay, so that one is covered. Now maybe I'm gonna do, well, this gets pretty covered. I think for the cover, maybe I'll do the glue stick. And we'll sort of test that adhesion. Okay, and it looks like on this one, I covered both of the spines. So I have the popcorn paper going. There, I'm gonna check myself. Here is my cover. Okay. Let me get these papers out so that I don't. You know what I did, friends? I forgot a whole step, but that's okay. We'll do it on the other ones. The first one that I built, in fact, we're going to do it on here, and then we'll just cover it with something else. So this is an extra step. You don't necessarily need to do this. I'm super big on building and making my journals, ephemera, whatever it may be, to be as sturdy and substantial as I can, so it lasts, you know, for many, many, many years, lots of enjoyment. And I wanted to fortify the spines a little bit more. So I just cut some 1/4 inch strips of file folder, just those Dollar Tree file folders. And even though I covered this one, we're still going to glue this in, and then we'll just cover it with, I think, the sheet music. We'll just cover it with the other one. So let's go ahead and do that. Totally forgot that. I should have made little notes. Sometimes I do that, but then sometimes I just, as I'm making and building things, it just happens very organically, and I don't always stop to do that. But I think this is a nice extra step. Huh, that's weird. It's saying my battery's running low. I'm gonna go out in the garage and flip. I think one of the circuit breaker things flip. I will be right back. Just take me a second. Okay, hopefully that worked. In fact, it was open. Maybe Jim was looking at it earlier. Yeah, it looks like the little thing is going. I'll just kind of watch that for a second and see if it goes up, because it's definitely plugged in. But I did see one that was flipped. Okay, I'll watch that. Okay, back to gluing these in. And then these will just, they just get covered by the papers. Oh, and I didn't do it on this one either. Maybe I'm not going to do it on this one. Let me see. Do I want to do it on that one? It'll show too much. Or I could put another piece of paper over the top of it. Let me see. Let me kind of fold it. This paper, that longitude latitude, is kind of like a thicker kind of cardstock, so it may be okay. I'm gonna do it. Should I go that way where it's a little bit thinner? I think I will. I'm just marking, it's harder to see where the lines are from this paper. There we go. Okay. Oh, 9%. It's working. It's charging. Okay. We'll put matte paper or washi. We'll put something cute there to cover that up. A little bit more work for ourselves, but yeah, definitely harder to line up. Let's see. Okay. All right, come in and cut those off. And this one I need to cut that way. Yeah, I am glad I took the time to do that. I think because I did it, I'm going to cut this down a little bit more here. And it'll be easier for us to cover it. And it will kind of get covered by the cardstock that we're putting over there, but it'll make it a little bit easier for me to cover it. Okay. All right, we'll address that later. Okay. Okay, now we're going to glue the popcorn paper in that. Make sure, definitely have enough. Make sure if I cut there, yeah. I think I'm going to use my paper trimmer. There's like just enough to cover that front. So let me get as close as I can. And then we'll have a really nice clean line. You have to go very, very slow with this popcorn paper because it's so thin. Okay. Check, check, and double check. Okay, that's a cleaner end. Okay, let's try some glue stick. See how we go. It's kind of fun to test the different kind. Let me get a glue paper here. And Oohoo, I think is my standout from that glue test. I'm still working through all the different glues that we bought for the test, but I think this will probably be the one that I go back and purchase and make it my all the time. Okay, and then again, I'm just going to line it up on that fold line. Covering the spine. It definitely, the glue stick, at least with this thinner paper, it definitely gives a nicer finish to it. Got so much glue on that side. Okay, now let's trim. With this thin paper, you could also wrap it around if you wanted. Okay. Let's see. All right. to look, Susie. I'm trying to think. It was a whole, I think we did like 7 different glues. I'm stuck here. And we even did it so precisely that we did the price per ounce, at least Amazon pricing, because I bought them all on Amazon. So we even did, yeah, price per ounce, and then tested. That didn't come out very clean. Because we're still a little bit wet. And we tested magazine pages, book pages. We originally were going to do painted pages, but we ended up kind of changing that part of the test. Okay. All right, so I think we're good. So let me come in and we'll give, so like every time you glue something down, you can just come back and fold again, kind of rescore. Okay. That is looking nice. Let's fold that one. Kind of come in. And when you're doing this at home, it's kind of nice too, because you do, what doesn't matter what kind of glue you use, there's still a little kind of damp time. So you can take your time and let things dry in between. Okay. Liking that. Okay, let's cover that with sheet music. Okay. And I think I'm going to go back to the art glitter glue. Gives us a little quicker dry time. I would even play around with maybe Fabri-Tac a little bit. Fabri-Tac's nice. It doesn't take, has a longer dry time, and you can come in and smooth with your fingers so you don't get this ridge kind of stuff that you do with the art glitter glue. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, and it's been so long. I don't have it like all totally memorized. And I ended up with so many glue sticks from doing that test. So I just kind of been grabbing. The one I will say, and I was using it the other day. Let me grab it so I can at least let you know that. Because I was using this when I was making the journal, but I'm just trying to use up the glue I had. So I was using this Prit the other day, and it really, what do I want to say? It clumps. So it's nice that it's nice and smooth, but when you're trying to cover a large area, it globs up. So I also think, glue, depending on what you're using it for, your application, there definitely could be some different, a glue stick that you love for doing, you know, this kind of work, that kind of work. Also, having a large, you know, a large glue stick is nice sometimes versus a small if you have a big area to cover. But that was one of the things I was noticing with the Prit. And I think when we were doing our test, that was the other thing. We're like, is it soft? Is it hard? You know, we kind of went into all that part of it too. Okay. I probably should do that last. We'll do a little test. Okay, so that's good. That's covered. Okay, so let's see. What did I put there? I think I did map. I did. So let's grab the map. And I just want to do a little fold test. I think we're looking good. Okay. And I had this piece left over from when I was doing the other one, but I don't love this sort of crease right here. It's old. I don't know what year it's from, but it's had this kind of brown crease here. So I grabbed out another map out of my stash, and I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to get as much of this kind of the land cut off from it. Let's see. I'll leave that Portland part showing. Let me cut it this way because I think I have a better edge. The straighter edge there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, that's good. Well, let's do this. We'll use the glue stick again. That one gave me a little bit of a clump too, but not as bad as the Prit. Okay. Yeah, I had seen, and the other thing that we did is I took some requests. So I had people sort of, you know, crafting friends that I knew, like what they used and loved. So I took a little bit of an input on the ones that I chose, because I know a lot of people used the Oohoo. And I also had a lot of people comment of ones they'd like me to test next time. So I did keep a list of that from the video comments. I'd love to test, I'll keep that little piece there. And we'll keep that little piece. I'd like to do a wet glue test too, like art glitter with the Barely Art glue. Terry, I never remember, do I? All these years, I never remember. Okay. Just gonna fold that so I hopefully get a pretty good cut line there. Although I will say I like a purple glue. I don't know if Yoo-Hoo has purple, but I do enjoy the purple because you can see where you've glued. So I know a lot of people love their purple glues. I'm going to get this a little bit neater here on this side. Okay, moving along. Kind of going the same direction. Not that that's super necessary. Okay. All right, so we have that. We have that. Let's go to this. I think I used sheet music. Not that it matters, but. And I'm going to cover up that little strip that we added of the file folder. Let's see, maybe I want to use it on this side too. I think I will. Actually, this was kind of a nice mistake because the cardstock doesn't fold as easy as these thinner pages of the sheet music. So I'm going to go over both of these, where I think the other one, I had the cardstock cover the spine. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to do glue stick in the middle because that's really working well for us. And then I'm going to do art glitter on those little spine strips, just so they're a little bit more secure. Okay. We'll do a combo. And line it up on that side. And give it a little cut. Barely, I know, I have like a mental blockage, barely art. I guess because for some reason in my mind, I say, well, art is in the art glitter. So I always stop and second guess myself thinking, well, art isn't in the bare one, but it does make sense that it would be, right? Okay. I just keep throwing, like a pile. I just keep throwing those little strips because they're good for collage. Of course, plus I'm sure we'll be collaging. See if I can get this a little bit closer, although it almost was exact width, which was good, which meant that I didn't have to dig in my bin of paper. I would definitely suggest when you're doing this at home, leave a little dry time, because I'm getting, because it's still really wet and damp, I'm not getting as clean of a cut on here. So, glue your page down, or maybe, alternate front to back, just so you get a little bit of a better, closer cut. Of course, ink hides a lot of sins. A lot of oopses. Okay. All right, we are moving along here. I'm going to give that a little bit of a bend. And there. Give this a little bit of a bend. I'll come in with my bone folder. Help that out a little bit. I think if I had an envelope that wasn't like this kind of yellowy color, you could almost just make your spines, like if you had a white envelope, you could just, you know, not cover your spine, and that would give a really clean look too. But I, of course, I'm picky, and I didn't like this kind of yellowy gold look. Okay. Okay, check, check, and recheck. Okay, we're doing pretty good. We're still pretty good. Okay, now we're going to use the cardstock. So I think I had cardstock here and then cardstock here on the flap. Maybe we'll do this part first. And I'm going to use art glitter because it's cardstock. You know, it'd be awesome if they had made an art glitter glue that had a longer dry time. Wouldn't that be? That would be the ultimate, I feel like. Because then you could spread it. Okay. Oh, we have to figure out something to cover that little bit there. Okay, let's cut that. You can maybe use the popcorn paper or app might be nice. Let's see. Yeah, my hands shake too sometimes, I find. I don't notice it when I'm just sitting here crafting by myself, but I feel like when I'm on with you guys, my hands shake. Also could be that I usually stop at 2 cups of coffee, and I just poured my third cup right before. Although, well, I think it looks like I drank half of it, so that could be also. Oh, you do? Oh, you're lucky. Lucky duck, Terry, you have a white envelope. I know, I have so many, right? It's like tax time, right? I have them from doing taxes. I have that. And I think my mother-in-law, when we were cleaning out her condo before she moved to memory care, she had a big stack of them. So I think that's why I have so many. So it'll be super interesting. Let me know, Terry, if you just leave the white and you don't try to wrap the spines and then ink it or something, and how it looks. I would love to know. Now, you could also just really take your time and cut 1/4 inch strips, right? That would be, I guess, the ultimate, and just do little strips and then glue them on. I mean, that would look beautiful and lovely. I just didn't think we would be able to, have the time to do it. Oh, that's the best, Terry. It's the best that your husband cleaned out and gave you. I'm always like, yes, I'll take it. Hi, Nellie. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm not going to say that right. Saludos desde Venezuela. Hello. We're so happy you're here. Welcome, welcome. Are you a crafter and a junk journaler? Okay, so I think okay, that looks really lovely. But I do need, we are going to have to bend that to get that top. Let me see. I'm going to take my bone folder. I don't know, maybe, was that a mistake to do that? But now, of course, it's there. And I used art glitter glue. I don't want to say we. I used art glitter glue. It will be hard to come off. Let me see if I can score that well so that it looks okay. Oh, you know what? Let me use my scoreboard. Why don't I use my scoreboard now that we have it? Wouldn't that be smart? Okay. Ooh, it's hard to do once it has all the layers on there. Ooh, it's super hard to do. Yeah, I'd love to have your feedback, Terry, if you just leave your... Okay, what should I do? Should I take that off? Let's see. Oh, maybe it's okay. Let's see. It wouldn't be a proper craft and chat if we didn't have oopses sometimes and have to come up with workarounds. There we go. Actually, that's okay. I think that's okay. All right. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, thank you so much, Nellie. You're so sweet. You are so sweet. Oh, Susie. Susie, you're so funny. Okay. All right, I'm going to glue that down a little bit. Okay, what are we going to cover? I don't like the way that looks. Okay, let's make it better. Let's see. We take a little bit of this cool matte. Oh, then maybe I'll like it. Let me also grab. Oh, I used the wrong piece. I used the thin piece. So I need a piece of cardstock. Let me grab. It's on the other side of the room. Oh no, I don't have a big enough piece, Julie. Okay. All right, we're probably going to have to use some other paper. Might be the only piece I had left. Oh no. All right, friends. Let's see. Let me think here. Let me think. I could use map paper, although I liked the cardstock because I did the little punch out here with the circle punch. So I like the sturdiness of the cardstock. Oh no. Let me see if I have another piece of that. I don't think I do. I'm digging. I just grabbed my paper bin. You guys can't see it, but please, please, please. Let's see here. I have this, but that's kind of pinky. It's a little more pink. Oh, I found some. I think there's some in here. Is that it? Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. No, it's not. It's the same back, but it's watermelons. I think I thrifted this. Watermelon. That doesn't watermelon. Well, just no, I don't think that goes with the vintagey. Ooh, I have this. Let's see, is this pink? I have polka dot. That has a little bit of a pink look though too. Let me look. This is real life. This is real life here. I do have this. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. And really, we are going to decorate. We'll decorate that piece. So let me see here. Working so hard to use up all this cardstock that I cut it close, huh? I'm going to pull out these here. I have some wood, like kind of wood look. That's green. Oh, I found another piece, but that's way too small, obviously. Let's see. Sorry, friends. Yeah, maybe we'll use that kind of buildy looking one so we can keep the blue going. One last little dig here at the bottom. I have a ton of that building one. Christmas. Black and white stripe. We have blue wood. That might be good. Okay, let's see what our options are here. Okay, we're gonna make lemonade out of lemons. Okay, these pieces are too small, but we'll use them for making pockets. Okay, so we have this one, which is not, you know, super bright like everything is, but it's not too bad. It does look kind of cute with that vibe. I feel like these are too, I think these are too pinkish. So I'm going to say no on these. I guess that's maybe a possibility. Okay, so we have that bold stripe. We have a blue wood. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Plus, it's also going to be against that. So that's not too bad. I feel like that's too much stripe. And let me look through these wooden ones here and see. What are you all thinking? You like the, okay, you like the architecture one? Okay, good. I will pull that one back out. Yeah, because it's like kind of old antique buildings. I think you are right, Terry. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. What did I do with it? Oh, it fell on the floor. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I think that'll look cute. Plus, it'll look kind of cute. It'll have a contrast with this, right? When we fold it down. New York Stock Exchange, that's kind of fun. Okay, so we're definitely going to have to cover this little strip, though, with something. So I'm thinking maybe this map would be cute to cover up. Because it'll kind of blend with this, but you'll get a little bit of a pink, a peak of the blue and the red. Okay, good. Yes, I agree. Okay, so this one though, I do want to cut it precise. This little strip that we're going to do. I'll make life easier on myself. I'll do this. And we'll do that. Okay. Put this in here. Sure it slips down in. I think it's a little bit long. Just a little bit. Yeah, we're not going to see much of it once we get that cardstock on there. Okay, let me cut a little bit more off. Okay. All right, we're going to fix this. And then once we get that cardstock, this next big piece on here, we'll go back and kind of check everything. We'll do like a pull test. Yeah, that worked. In fact, I'm going to glue down. Get that a little bit. Glue here. Yeah, and that kind of blended in, but it has a little bit of that pop of red and blue. Cute. Okay. You get a little bit more glue back here. Alrighty. Okay, now, let's see, I don't need that for right now. Let's see here. I think what I'll do is I'll cut off some of this border so that we just have more of the building showing. So I think I'll like take it to there. Throw that over there. And I like this like stock exchange. I love this paper. I used to use this to do gift tags for my other business. Who makes this? I've had this so long. 2009. I picked up a huge pack from, I don't even know what size. It was a humongous pack from Tuesday Morning. Graphic 45 is who makes this. That's real, very, very cute. Okay. I'm glad to be using it. Okay, so I want to cover, make sure I covered that. Okay, I'll do it this way. Don't let me forget to cut the circle hole. I will forget. I'm apt to forget to do that. Okay. Okay, let's get the width. Make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Okay, let's see. Oops. That going there. Oh, that's cute. Right. Check, check. Double check. Okay, I think that's good. And it covers here, covers here. So because I want to do the circle, I think I am going to go ahead and cut this one to size. Makes it a little bit easier. Oh, I can't see it. Cannot see it. Let's use a pen. Okay. That I can see. Okay. That was good. I had this paper. Well, we would have used something thinner, but it wouldn't have been as nice. Okay, so let's figure out where our circle punch is going to be. Right here, 4.5. Let me grab my punch. hard to see. Let's see. All right, there we go. Okay, this one though I am going to ink, otherwise I won't be able to ink. Oh, look what I did. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, let's do that again. Let's do that again. I cut it on the wrong side. I don't want to, and I don't want to put it upside down. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. We might make this like a 3-parter. Let's see. Why did I do that? This might be a 3-part series. Okay, we got that. I'll just use, but I could use the other one, right, to measure it. Okay. So I'm going to do it this way. I don't trust myself. Do not trust myself. Okay, and while we're at it, the circle needs to go on this side, correct? Correct. I'll double check before I cut it, but and it'll be right there. Right? This side. Okay. Okay. But we'll check it again. Now I need my pen line. Make sure that's very straight. Okay. Well, the pen went right onto the, it's like right in the plaid. Okay. All right. Beautiful fit. Beautiful fit. And we're punching on this side, right? Right where my thing is. And I'm going to do this just to make sure. Yep, that's perfect. Okay. The theme today is, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to make it too deep because I don't want to run up. Oh my God, I thought I messed up again. I don't want to run up against not covering this kind of dip down, that little lip right there. Okay. Inking. We are inking. Okay. I keep saying, okay. All right, what time is it? Yeah, this may end up being a 3-parter. But so after we do this step, I'm not going to go back and check all the glue parts. I mean, you guys can do that when you're making your own. So maybe we'll move on to doing the decorating the front cover. I think we'll move on to that. I have everything cut out, so that should be pretty quick. And then next week we will make week 2 we'll go over the papers a little bit, but next week we can sew in our signature, because I'm just doing one signature, and doing some ephemera and stuff for the inside. And I'll be working on that this week. Okay, that's good. All right, I'm going to use art glitter. I'm going to just do that just because. Okay. Ooh, Chinese food. Ooh, I haven't had Chinese food in a long time. Yummy. What time is it, Susie? Is it dinner time? I don't know what time zone you're in. Ooh, that sounds so good. Oh, maybe I need to get Chinese food. We don't do Chinese as often because, as you all know, I've shared that before. My husband, Jim, is half Japanese, so we tend to do Japanese more than Chinese. And actually, we don't eat out that often, but we do cook a lot of kind of Chinese, or not Chinese, kind of Japanese style. My daughter is very good. Taylor has taught herself how to make a lot of. She makes super good udon and just different Japanese dishes. Some she learned from my mother-in-law. Luckily, she was able to learn some things from grandma. I'm always so afraid the envelope is gonna. Okay, so that one I really want to let that kind of adhere and dry. And that looks cute. Good choice, Terry. Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to give this a little bit of extra here in the corner because it wants to lift a little. And then we'll move on. Okay, I think this, I'm also going to trim that a little bit. Okay. And as everything dries and you go back and you check all your creases. So if I was home, the next thing I would do is check, make sure everything is adhered really well. All my edges, all my corners are well glued down. And then I would come in and ink the whole thing. You can make it as inky as you want. I think that especially if you have a gold folder or a yellowy folder, I think it's nice to come up in with the ink and kind of take away that yellow. So then come in and do all your inking. And also you can see too, like on the edges there. So I do have a little bit of a gap that I left purposely, but when you come in with your ink, it just kind of makes it all kind, well, it's hard to see on the camera, but it takes that yellowy gold away. So you want to go in and ink everything, but let's move on to decorating the front. I want to do a little bit of a double check here. Yeah, and I definitely need to come back and check all that glue. Okay, but everything seems good. We look nice. We look good. Yeah, okay. Okay, although I do think I am gonna ink kind of this front. I am gonna ink that just because we're doing that cover. Okay. Okay, that's good. All right, that's our top. Okay, now let's start working on this. So I grabbed my little collage elements here. You know what I don't have is a piece of this stuff. Let me grab it out of this book. I don't have a piece of this longitude latitude, so let me just grab a piece of that super quick. And I think I just used one of these sections. Yeah, that's what I did. And obviously you may not have this little grid, but just cute, you know, word like book page would look so cute. You could even do like graph paper, dictionary paper. I mean, this would actually look cute too. You could just take this column. I think it's kind of nice to have that column wording. Or just a cute piece of cardstock if you have decorative cardstock. And I think I cut that little part off. I'm really trying to make myself use up what I have. In fact, when I was so good when I went to get the scoreboard. Michael's had, they were like $5.99 cardstock packs, and they had some really cute ones. And I had one in my hand, and then I just said, no, you don't need it. Try to use up what you have, and then you can buy. And you can buy some new. Okay, I think that, yeah, that's good. It's maybe a little bit wider, but it is good. I did. I did my whole bunch, and I did it the right way. Yeah, I have. And I just kept it really shallow. I probably could have gone a little bit deeper. Maybe that would have been good. I don't know. It's kind of loose. I might be able to stick it. I was really worried that I would bump in to that, you know, that top there. It's kind of hard to see, but I do have I had a little bit of playroom there. Okay. All right, so let's ink that up. You know what I'm going to do too? I didn't do it on the other one. I'm going to round the corners. Maybe with this. I think that'll look cute. Just give it a little extra design. Okay. Yeah, I don't always have good control. I like to shop. It depends on the situation. I don't have good control. The places I don't have good control are flea markets. or estate sales if there's really good stuff. I don't know why. Those are the two places I seem to have the least amount of control, because it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff. But I have gotten, well, I think I always had pretty good self-control at the thrift stores. And as my space is shrinking, I only have, so much storage room at my disposal. And I'm trying to stay within that, so that makes me kind of be good and have a little bit more self-control. I ebb and flow. I go through times where I'm fine with the clutter, and then it's just too much. And I inherited all, we as a family inherited my mom and stepdad's entire estate. So I've had a lot of years of, having all that stuff in our garage, and this, beautiful things of my mom's that I'm keeping. And sometimes it just feels like a lot when you bring all that stuff into your own home. It could just feel very overwhelming. And I've done such a great job of paring it down and selling and deciding what pieces I'm keeping, but it's been a process. And I'm a maximalist. I'm an admitted, I think I'll save that little piece. I am an admitted maximalist. I enjoy decorating vintage things. Cool things. I think let's rip that one down. Also, let me ask you guys, how do you, the thing I'm finding, so I have to get back to that project of, where's my art glitter? I need to get back to the organizing. I think maybe I did 3 videos on organizing my craft room, so I need to get back to it. The next thing is my paper shelf. Speaking of paper, that has all my cardstock and all my little envelopes. But how do you guys store your books? So currently the books that I'm taking apart and I use pages from, I just keep them like this. So, I'm constantly pulling. This is one of my favorite books, so I pull out of it all the time. If the pieces get really small, like this is a big piece, so I leave this in the book. But if they get super small, I don't have a piece of it, but if it was small like that, it probably would end up in my box with all my, collage, little bits and pieces of collage papers. But I'm leaving things like this. But the thing I'm finding, obviously this is all kind of Americana kind of stuff. So I guess I would leave this like this if it was a small book. But so when you're taking a book apart, say a children's book, and maybe there's Christmas and Halloween stuff, maybe there's 4th of July stuff in there, are you guys taking the books apart and then maybe keeping boxes or envelopes, like put the Christmas with the Christmas and the Halloween, whatever, 4th of July with the 4th of July? I haven't done that yet, but I'm finding it takes me so long to go through my books and kind of find images. Like I probably spent, I don't know, 45 minutes yesterday just pulling out different books to see if I could find, things red, white, and blue, or 4th of July stuff, or patriotic stuff. And it's very time consuming. Okay, so Kathy says depends on the book. Okay. Terry's saying, I have one bookcase I use for all my books, cut into or not. Other random pages I've bought, I store in expanding file folders labeled the sections by type of paper. Okay. And then Susie says, my books at the moment are on the floor. Yeah, I had a big bin. Well, I do have some on the floor. I have a basket underneath me that's on the floor. And then I had a pile on the floor until a couple days ago. And then I brought a little stool in my space. So now they're stacked on the stool, but they might as well be on the floor. Kind of same thing. But I feel like it's not working for me, but maybe that's more of an issue with the children's books, because children's books are the ones that tend to have the different categories. I feel like this, I probably would keep all together because it's, it's all one subject matter. Maybe birds I would keep, nature I would keep, but it's the children's books that I'm finding, let's see, is it this one? This one I was looking at. Yeah, like this one. And at one point I went and I marked, like if I had started taking the book apart, like I would put a sticky note just so I would remember. But like this one I went through at one point and I'm like, okay, there's Peter Rabbit stuff in here. There's alphabet tags. And like this one, I think we'll use some of this, but I think there's patriotic. Like there's owl. Like owl stuff, but like, see, here's Christmas. So I should probably take this book apart. Is that what you guys would do? Take it apart, and then this should go in a Christmas, like my Christmas bin. All right. I don't know. It's just that the time. See, and it has one page. I had marked it patriotic, but then what's on the other side of this? See, there's really good with the bugs. So I don't know. So Kathy said, I would think it depends on how you use the pages. Sorting by holidays and like items would probably work best for you. I think so. That's when I'm coming around to the realization, just because it takes me so long to like find whatever sparks my creativity, or if it's a certain subject matter. So Susie's saying, I need a bookcase, but can't pick up. I am alone, so I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace, but you have to pick up. What about, Susie, would you be handy if you, although I think you said you don't do Amazon, if you had one delivered, like Walmart, I think, some other stores too, right? Like Walmart delivers. I think most of them do, like Target. Yeah. So Terry's saying, I take that book apart because you can section it out. I separate everything by holidays because that's how I craft. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna, I think that's the best suggestion. Kathy and Terry. I think I'm gonna start spending time to do that, and then making folders or something. I mean, obviously some of this could be used for other stuff, but like this should be, I should have one that's like bunnies, right? For like Eastery spring stuff. So I think that's the next thing I need to start thinking about doing. Well, and really even, I don't know, like let's use Twinchies as an example. We're working on Twinchies. I'm not saying it right. Twinchies this past week for our prompt, and I probably sat for a half an hour pulling out a book, and finding what again made me excited or spark some kind of creativity, or was like a small enough image that would work for a 2x2. Okay, we have him inked. This is actually a sticker. I think I got these from Temu back when I was still shopping at Temu, or ordering from Temu. I think we need to, oh, there we go. It had that little, the little thing wasn't punched out there. But those like carnival tickets would kind of do the same thing, or a piece of graphic paper like that. This one I use, these are so cute. I found these on Pinterest. So they're like sparkler box, like vintage sparkler box copies. So I think what I'm going to do for the inside too, I'm going to take a bunch of these and then put coffee dyed or something. So this will be part of the decoration on one of the page, but wouldn't that be so cute? Like a bunch of these coming out of, oops, not those, like a little pocket. Okay, so let's cut this. Ooh, I have a lot of work ahead of me to do that. Let's see. But I think it'll be more efficient. Also, I feel like that's a good thing to do it that way too, so that when you're out at the thrift stores or the book sales, you kind of know. I mean, obviously, okay, if I move to start doing Christmas stuff, I can just pull out the Christmas folder. But as I use it and I watch the level of items I have, then I know what I can pick up, what I should be looking for. Okay, so that's inked up. And then I just grabbed one of these little 4 little pre-made labels stamped with the 4. Oh, that would be, yeah, that's an interesting, if they would. I feel like they would, Susie. So do you ever, how do you get packages? Like, something other than mail. Like, do you ever order online, like a box or something? Is there a place that they're supposed to leave it in your building? I feel like if it's something big, they would deliver it to your door. Okay, there's that. Yay! Yay for the Chinese food. Okay, let's glue all of our elements down. Let's see, I'm going to do that way. I'm going to cut a little bit more of this off. I must have cut a little bit more just to make it a little shorter. Also, maybe that would be a question for your neighbors. If your neighbors have had things delivered that are bigger and bulkier. I wish I lived close to you, Susie. I would totally come help you. I would be there in a split second. Even if you weren't super close, I would still come. Okay. All right, we have our little sparkler box for him to stand on. Let's glue this down. You do a little bit of a dry fit. I do want to do a double check because I want to see what is visible when this flap is closed. Whoops. This flap goes around. I'm going to make sure we see our guy. It's probably going to be about there. Guess that's about even. We have that there. Okay, yeah, we'll be able to see him super well. And what about the 4? Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of pencil. I feel like the 4 needs to be about there when all is said and done. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do the little lifty method here. I find that works the best for me. It doesn't move on me. Or the pencil. Pencil works too. Oh, okay. So you do have, yeah, the fall and the Christmas. Yeah, I think that's my next big thing to tackle. Also, well, as I'm moving through, because I need to organize my, ooh, that's a little crooked. As I need to organize my books as part of this whole process too. I'm gonna scuff this up a little bit. I'd also like to have all my nature books together, all my bird books together, you know, whatever, all my children's books. Now everything's kind of spread. It's all over the place. And that takes a long time too. Okay, I like that little tear there. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to do this next just so I got him in here. This was some of that fabric that I got at the flea market in Durango, Colorado. It looked like maybe she had cut it from the bottom of curtains. So this is like the right side, but I like the flip side better. So I flipped it over. Oh, that's so sweet. So if you have smaller packages up by where your mail gets delivered or the mailboxes, she comes and delivers them to people. That's awfully sweet. I would ask her, maybe she knows what happens when people get larger deliveries. And I don't know here. Well, we have the Amazon trucks. So some stuff comes, it seems like it comes, well, I guess does it all come from the Amazon truck? I feel like some stuff comes from the Postal Service, but maybe it is all Amazon trucks. Maybe if one of your neighbors happens to catch like the Amazon guy sometime, and then maybe the driver, the person that drops off in your area, maybe they would be able, that would be ideal, huh? What are you doing, Cha-Cha? Our little kitty's down here. And the neighborhood Bengal cat is actually sound asleep over on the couch. Thor. He is, oh, I met his mom. I met his owner the other night. Thor was over bugging our friends who now officially own Jojo, our old cat. inside outside cat. And so I think Thor was over bugging JoJo. So Kiki, she texted and said, let Thor in, or he's over here and JoJo's having a fit. So I went out the front door to look for him. And I saw a lady walking down the street with this huge dog. Like, what is that? Like a Marmaduke sized dog? I don't know what. It was like a horse, the biggest dog. And Thor was with her. We're walking next to her with the dog, and she was like, "Go home. You should go home." And so then I walked out to the sidewalk and I said, Is that your cat? And she's like, "Yes, his name's Thor." So we had this big conversation. And she said he has like 4 or 5 houses that he goes to and hangs out, and he doesn't come home for a couple days at a time. But she's like, "Yeah, I just don't understand. And some cats are like that." And she's like, "I hope he's not bothering you." And I said, "No." I said, "We love him." I said, "Our inside cat so wants to be best friends with him and adores him." So kind of funny. Anyway, I think when Taylor left for school, he runs in the garage. And so then he came in the house. So he's fine. Cha-Cha likes not laying next to him because Thor won't let him like cuddle with him, but he just loves to sit near him and take in his company. I think he misses Kai, our little boy that we had to help cross over. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's get our little bit of rickrack. I think I used this color. Talking too much. I said I wasn't going to talk a lot today, huh? Okay. What time is it? Oh my gosh, 2:22. Wow, anybody that's still sticking around. Okay. Do this super quick. Quickie. Oh, I'm so excited to get to the inside decorating too, all the ephemera, because you know that's my love, is doing all the ephemera. It's my babe. It's my favorite. Okay, that's pretty straight. Let me do it that way so I get that clean line. Yeah, well, ours and everybody else's. Well, I'm glad JoJo's happy. He so loves being at their house. He was fine when the other 2 cats were kittens, when, not kittens, but even teenager. Even though they were as gentle can be of kitties, they never once were aggressive with him or hissed at him. But as the other 2 boys got bigger, he felt very intimidated in some way. JoJo likes to be I think Thor's the same way too. This Bengal cat, I think he wants to be king of the hill, which Cha-Cha never cared about and Kai never cared about. So, But I'm just so happy that he's happy with them, and we still get to see, you know, he does come over and visit, even though he complains the whole time he's here. I think I'm going to do the lifty method here too, just because. So yeah, we still get to see him and visit with him, and he's only grumpy if he comes in the house. If he's outside, he's different. He's just afraid. Even though Cha-Cha's never ever once, oh, it's very clogged. He's never meowed in a weird way or growled at him or been aggressive, but whoops. Okay, that's pretty even. Yep, we're still good. And they adore him, and their son adores him, and he's just super happy with them. He really wants to be an only child, so. And they love him. So as long as they love him and he's happy, we were, for a long time, they were, are you sure? Are you sure? And I said, no, we're super sure. We just want him to be happy. And I had never met a cat ever other than Jojo that was like that, but obviously Thor is the same way. I don't know. So fascinating. Okay. I'm going to trim that a little bit. Oops, I cut that a little bit too close. Okay, all right, so there's that front, and then super quick, I'm going to add this on. So I'm going to add a little bit, and I already put the little ties in the buttons, so that will go super quick. Let me just cut a length of this. Oh, hi, Carrie. We are. Well, I had a bunch of oopsies. I think I had 2 oopses, right? Did I have more than 2? I had 2 oopses. So I had to fix that those 2 situations, but we got through it together. And then I said I was just not going to talk and I was going to craft, but of course now I'm talking. But we're almost done with what we're going to do today. So next week we'll be working, we will sew in our signature, and I will have some fun. I think I did too much. I did way too much glue on that. We will work on decorating the inside. So I'll probably fully decorate it, and then we'll just kind of pick and choose what we do. I don't think we won't do all of them, but I will fully decorate the inside. Well, pockets and tags and journaling cards, that kind of thing. I may not decorate the signatures too much, but I don't know. It depends on what I do once I get into all that. Oh, I have so much glue on my hands. Okay, I'm going to wait for that to dry a little bit more before I come in and trim it. But I think we can go ahead and put our buttons on. And I already prepped them. Let me find them. So I was digging around in my mama's button jar yesterday. Aren't these cool? So I found, I don't know if I have more than that, but I found at least 2 of them. And then where's the little other ones? Let me get this glue off my fingers. Were they minor ones, Terry? I don't know. Well, one of the things, Carrie, could have been a disaster because I used the wrong size of cardstock that I had cut and prepped, but I only had, so I used the wrong one, and then that meant I didn't have a piece to cover this inside cover. So I had used this cardstock for the other one, but luckily enough, I had a piece that worked because I don't have like a really big cardstock selection because I'm trying to use up what I have. But actually, I don't know. I might like that even better. I think that turned out super cute. So that was a could have been an epic fail, but it was a save. What was my other thing? Oh, and then I did a hole punch, the little cutout. I did the little cutout on the wrong side too. So then I had to cut a whole new piece. So, all right, I'm going to cut these little strings off. So I went ahead and I like when I'm doing the buttons, I didn't always do that, but now it's my new thing. I like to finish off the buttons and then just put a little bit of twine or baker's twine in there. I think it just gives it a nice finished look. So I'm just going to clip it down a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And then usually, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but then I'll come in and just kind of zhuzh up the edges, like kind of unwind them so they're a little bit more like full and kind of raggedy like that. It's a little harder to do with the thin, but, and you could ink them too. You can even come in and give them a little bit of a distressing too. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's do our first one. And I got lucky. I found two of these matching, but I think the white buttons I used on the other were mismatchy, but still cute. Maybe it makes it even cuter when it's like that. Oh my goodness. covered in glue. Actually, I think my mom had a bunch of button jars. Usually I don't dig in them too much because I have a couple little bins of buttons, but I didn't have any good red ones. So, and I think some of the buttons were from my great grandmother. They're really old and cool, and like a lot of really neat colored ones. Okay. All right, those have to dry a little bit more, so we're not going to fiddle with them too much. Let me put my tops on my glue. Let's see. Oh, this one's just laying there without a top on it. And let me put that one there. Okay, and then we'll kind of go over. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry a little bit more. I'll come in afterwards, after we're off. I will cut this flush, kind of go around the corner there. So I'll cut both sides of that off, not up, but off. I'll come back in and make sure everything is glued nice and everything, you know, folds well. I'll come in and do inking. Okay, so that's kind of, that's that, but that's what it looks like. And I won't tie this on till everything's kind of inked and dried, but that will end up being the tie that I picked out for mine. And then let's look at this one really close. So next week, if you're crafting along or if you're going to make your journal and come back and craft along with me next week, you'll want to pick out some pages for the signature. How many pages did I do? So for a 1/4 inch spine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I did lucky number 13. I added 13 pages or pieces, individual pieces of paper to my signature. Some are very thin. Some of them are, you know, kind of this thin ledger kind of, am I saying it right? Columnar paper, you know, so it's a little bit on the thin side. Some of these are more robust book pages here from some children's books. So there's different kind of thicknesses, but I think it's a good, we'll decorate them some. I don't know, but again, it tends to be what, once I start digging in, kind of what the flow is, but I think that that's a pretty good amount. So I won't decorate them fully. So you want to pick out your pages and cut, you know, make sure that they're proper size. And then we'll be going over, most of us here probably know that anyway, but then we will come in very quickly and just do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Super simple and easy. I just left these long and tied it in a bow, but I think what I'm going to do, I've seen people do it, I think it's awfully cute, and I think I have some larger size Denison stars, but I think I'm going to look for some star stickers. If I can't find them, maybe I'll do book pages, or I don't know, I'll figure out. But wouldn't that be cute to have little paper stars maybe on the end, so it wouldn't dangle down below, but would just kind of lay on the page? I think that would be adorable. So that's my plan for that. And yeah, we will start decorating the other pages for sure. Here's one of the library pockets that Terry so sweetly sent me in the friend mail that she sent. So I think definitely I love having a library pocket on the inside flap of my journal. I just always tend to do that. So I think we'll definitely do a little library pocket here. I started on the card. I haven't done anything with it, but I just put a little tab top. It was from one of those printables that I shared earlier. So we'll have to decorate that up. And yeah, we'll just have a fun play. I sort of dug into some of the things that Carrie, the paper monkey, had also sent me, some things I had bought and some friend mail that she sent. So I'm just going to dig through all my ephemera and just look for fun things that would go with the red, white, and blue theme. And then I got totally sidetracked yesterday. I think this was a game card too that came from Carrie, and I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to collage it. So I don't know. I think this would be awfully adorable, maybe here on the back. I like to decorate the backs, the back cover, whether we put a pocket, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll just do a simple collage here. It's probably best to leave it clean. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's what we will be doing next week. So look for the thumbnail for that. Probably once I get a few more things kind of fluffed out and what we'll be making together, then I'll put the thumbnail up and we'll post on Instagram and the community tab and all that kind of good stuff here on YouTube. And that is it. super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, this was a little bit of a longer one. Sometimes I know when I'm making these journals, I kind of bite off more than I can chew. Let me do the camera around. Oh my gosh, yeah. So anyway, but let me know, did you guys enjoy this? I felt I was long overdue to do a journal. I do ephemera so much because that's really my love, is collaging and little cute little things and making the little pockets. Like that's really my first love. So yeah, let me know if you guys are enjoying actually making different sorts of journals and different styles of journals, because I think it was fun. Good. I'm glad you love it, Terry. That's good. So that is it, my friends. Yeah, if you want, the new thing I wanted to say really quick is YouTube has now given us a community tab. Sorry, I have so much glue. They've now given us a community feature on YouTube. And let me show you, let me share with you. So here is the front page of my channel here on YouTube. And you can see right there where it says visit community. So I have enabled that. And let me find, is it newest? Yeah, so I think what happens is if I make posts in, so there's two things. There's an area here if you have a channel that's called posts. Okay, so that's where I can make, updates, whatever I want to shout out here on the channel and keep everybody up to date. And then this visit community tab, if you go into that, it now allows you to make posts on my channel. But when you click on it, you see both my posts that I make through that other tab and anything that our friends here in the community have posted under that community tab. So you can write something, you can something you want to share with all of us, a project, something that you're working on. I think it would be a great thing for the weekly prompts that you're working on to share those. And in fact, Laura at Fatbird Finds, she had posted a picture of her Twinchies that she made this past week with our weekly prompt. So I just think that's super fun. It just, allows us to engage with each other more. I know a lot of people don't have Instagram. Like I know Susie doesn't have Instagram, but if you have a phone, you can certainly take a photo and you can post it here on the community tab. Yeah, and it's super easy. Kathy, you just click on that visit community. So I think so you can sort by top. Well, at least I can. I don't know what it looks like when you look, but it gives me a tab that's top, newest, and my posts. And because I posted after Laura, it shows my post for today. And let me see, newest. Yeah, if I do newest, it shows my post that I made and shared for today. And then it has Laura down here. And like Angela shared something a few days ago too. So like here's something that Dear Angela's Vintage shared, kind of some ideas of ATCs, I think. So yeah, if you're just working on something and you're super excited and you want to share with all of us, share it there. That's for us all to just enjoy, to engage with each other, to inspire each other, and just see what we're working on. And certainly the weekly prompts would be great as well to post what we're working on. So oh, thank you, Susie. I'm so glad that you enjoyed. And that's it. I think that was the only thing else I wanted to share. So that's it, friends. I thank you all who stuck. What was this? Oh my gosh, 2 hours and 44 minutes. I appreciate you if you hung out this long, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And I will see you next Thursday. Bye, friends.